Hey guys, AdvancedNet Gaming here, and welcome to episode 2 of Learning Animation. And today we're going to actually start working with the program. And I know the first episode was probably quite boring to most of you all, even for beginners. That was probably a horrible experience, just going over the tools and how to use the program. But today we actually get to start on animating and creating objects within Autodesk 3ds Max. And there's one thing that I wanted to say before I got started, and that is rigging. I was actually rigging something with this program. However, I've had so much trouble. Like, I've never had so much trouble in my life. So it might be delayed. I don't understand why, because I've done it before just as easy. And it was actually not too long ago that I did rig something for the first time, and it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. But for some reason, it just didn't work out. The settings wasn't showing, and I'm hoping that it was just the program needed a restart. I'm hoping that that was the issue. However, that's not the point. We're not going to be worrying about that right now. That's going to be later on in this series. So let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and full screen the perspective 3D view here, and we're going to create just simply maybe, let's say, we can create a box, sphere, cylinder, a torus, teapot, cone, geosphere, tube, pyramid, or a plane. First of all, let's just go ahead and create a plane so we can have a ground to look at. So about there, I'm trying to line it up with the grid. And you can press G to turn off the grid. I'll go ahead and hide this for you so you guys can see. There, so as you can see, you can turn off the grid and turn it on and off. So I'm gonna turn that back on. There we go. And I'm using, as I said in the first episode, I'm using 3ds Max 2015 version. So it's going. I'm still learning some. There's some differences with 2014. Some stuff don't even work anymore that it used to work in 2014, and I don't really like that. So that's not the point. Let's go ahead and get started. So we got the plane. Let's go ahead and change the color, and you can change the color by coming over here where it says name and color. When I first started out using the software, I never knew that selecting this and seeing this color, I always thought that was like a color ID, like, which I mean it sort of is, but you can. I didn't know you can click it and it'll actually change the color. I didn't know that, so we're gonna just make it gray, and we can go ahead and create a box. Let's create a box, and we're gonna make it like out there. And let's just kind of, there we go, it looks somewhat good. And we can go ahead and move it perhaps there. And if we actually render it, which I'll have to come here, render. As you can see, we have the plane, and then sorry, let me move it where you guys can see it, and the box. So now let's start working with no, I'm going way too fast actually, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to get, like, for some reason I'm trying to cover all sorts of other things that I'm not even shouldn't do right now, because it's just going to confuse you more. So what we're going to work on today is animating. We're not going to be animating anything like a skeleton, nothing like that. We're just going to be animating a box moving across the plane here. So let's go ahead and do that. So down here we have frame 0 to 100. Excuse me. So you can change that by going here where it says time configuration. You can't see it because it's off of my recording dimensions. And where it says animation, you can change it from start time. You can make it start at, as you can see, it changes. You can make it start at 2. You can make it start at 5, whatever. Um, you can start at, you can make it end at 200, whatever you like. I usually leave it start time is 1. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to slow down. Start time is 0 and end time by 100. That's just default. Just leave it. I just wanted to show you guys for people who wants to make a longer scene or something like that. So let's go ahead and work on the animation. So now what we want is to go where it says 0 and press something called auto key, and it says toggle auto key mode. Auto key just allows you it's like it's like it's like what I'm doing right now. It records, but it doesn't do anything until you do anything. So for example, if I press auto key, nothing will happen. It has this red outline here saying that, okay, I'm recording, do anything and I'll record it. So it's kind of like a motion camera. The camera, you can enable the camera and it'll just sit there and then until something starts moving, and then it's going to start recording because there's a motion going on. It's the exact same thing with this. Until there's a motion, then it's going to start recording it, even though auto key is pressed. Auto key is recommended for beginners. I still use it a lot because it's a whole lot easier than doing set key, set key, set key. Because and I guess in some cases that it's probably easier to do set key, but auto key is just a whole lot easier because it just sets the key automatically for you. That's what it's pretty much saying. Auto key, automatically keying what it needs to be keying. So let's go ahead and get started. So it's going to start here and it's going to move to all the way over here. So I'll put it back there and I'll press auto key. Now you can't just press auto key and move it. That won't work. It will work, but it's going to start out over here, and we want it to start from here and in there. So what we want to do is, once auto key is enabled, you want to get your animation slider and slide it to 100. I want to slide it to 100. Okay, so once you do that, now I'm going to click this red arrow on the x-axis, and I'm just going to slide it all the way to the end of this plane. And I want you to watch the timeline, and you will see the key that will pop up once I let go of the key. So it's not, once I press it, it's not going to do it. Oh, okay, my bad. It's going to start. So I'm going to do this, and notice that once I did it, it created 2 keys automatically for me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the auto key off. So it created a start key and then the end key. You'll always have a start key and end key, because the start key is just where it's going to start from, and then where the start animation and then the ending animation. So if I go ahead and move the slider bar here, as you can see, it's starting to move. Now you can come here where press play, and as you can see, it's moving. So and as you can also just single click it or hold it down, and then as you can see, it moves it once you move this, and it will move a whole lot quicker, and it will stop at 50. So the closer the end key is to the beginning key, the faster the box will move to the end, as you can tell. So how fast it moved. And you can also do, if you just move it at 100, notice that it starts out really slow, but it kind of speeds up just a little bit in the middle, because that's the highest speed there is at the moment. Okay, so for I have enough time, so we're pretty much done with this episode, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the render customization and how to export render out your animation, even though it's just a simple box moving across the plane. Okay, so we're going to click this teapot and it has like a box to it on the bottom right corner of it, and where it says render setup. Go ahead and click that, and then you have about 5 different options. You got common, render elements, ray tracer, and then advanced lighting. So if you were going to render out an animation, you would go to common parameters and select. You can do active time segment, which it will automatically do from default the settings that you set from 0 to 100. And when it says 0 to 100, that is the frame. Like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a frame. There's one's a frame, two's a frame, and each of them's a frame. So it's frame 0 to frame 100. That's pretty much it. And you can also select custom, which it's the same thing as range. You can select your own. You can make it start at 0 and make it end at 50, for an example. But you shouldn't have to need that. So you just press active time segment, and then you can ignore the area 2 render, and then you can go down to where it says output size. That is the animation resolution. And what you can do it just like 480p, like the lowest quality. I don't know why you would want it as that low of a quality. Or you can go to HDTV video, and you can do it by 1080p, 720p, and lower. I usually do 1080p because that's like the highest resolution there is. And then you have the options atmospheric, which means fog. No, I don't think. No, I think that's effects. My bad. Well, fog is an atmosphere type of deal, so I'm not really for sure. That's just effects that's going on with your animation. And then the next thing you want to worry about is render output. That's just where the destination of where it's going to render out to. And then that's also what you want it to render out to. So save type as, if you were going to render animation, I would recommend you to do AVI file. Or if you have a transparent background, you would move to MOV QuickTime file. That is what that's what most people use for movies or just funny animations in real life. Like, have you ever seen a movie where it's real life, but you can also see animated characters? That is a MOV QuickTime file. It's animated to make it look like it's in real life, but it's actually not. So you would use MOV QuickTime file, but it will not work if you do not have the software made by Apple. You have to have the actual program, which is just like it's like Windows Media Player. It's kind of like that. All you have to do is download it and it'll work. That's all you need. So it's recommended. If you don't have it, it's not going to work. It's going to give you a whole lot of errors. So AVI and all that stuff. I don't need to render it because, I mean, it's just an animation. So that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. This pretty much wraps up this episode. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.